go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Wednesday, March 19th, 2025. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart and the altcoin market, along with the XRP price chart. Take a peek over there at the United States stock market, which is set to open up in 1 minute, along with precious metals, gold, silver, and the US dollar currency index, or the DXY. Lastly, we wrap it up by looking over there at any type of crypto news going on out in the world or financial news. Today, I fully planned to come on here and say, guys, go enjoy your spring break. Get your gardens ready. Get your mulch in. Take care of anything that died throughout the winter and get your new plants in, because it's going to be probably a boring week ahead. But 15 minutes ago, Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, made the announcement the SEC has dropped their appeal against Ripple. It is over. 4 years. 4+ years. It is over. And we have been through this journey together the whole time. A nightmare. It is over. So we'll wait for the initial official announcement to come out of the SEC. But Brad Garlinghouse put out a very constructed video over there on Twitter. I wish I could play it here. I would love to play it on here, but unfortunately for YouTube, I would probably get copyright striked for it because there's a lot of background music in the video. So unfortunately, I can't play it here on YouTube without worrying about all that background music that is on there. So go check out Brad Garlinghouse's Twitter profile. You can check out mine. I retweeted it, whatever you want. So yeah. So there you go. The appeal has been dropped. Price reaction, of course, we see a quick pop happening over here in the market. I had talked about yesterday, or excuse me, I didn't make a video yesterday. I talked on Monday that it would seem logical and probable that there would be a sweep of the lows to end up happening in here on the XRP price chart. I posted about it on Twitter yesterday morning to start the day off. It really acted completely technically perfect in here. The exact crashing structure of how things come to a conclusion with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rolls back up to wave 4 within wave 5, and then the 2 little pushes to conclude it. I really genuinely thought after this moment, we were just going to do something like this for the next week. And then, we get our news to come out here this morning and to push prices up. And we're sitting at 247 right now as we kick off Markets in the Morning. So we'll see if there's any follow through on that. I don't know. I don't know how much juice it's going to end up having with the market conditions where they're at. Typically in order to get things really pumping and moving, we got to have the whole market conditions going with it. So even if we do kind of continue throughout today and keep going, I think there's still probably some really big resistance up there of $3 if it has the momentum to even be able to get up there. But I think the bigger thing is just how long we've all been through this thing together. For a lot of us, I do understand probably over 2/3 of people came in here at the peak of the market in 2021. That's typically when people pour into markets and become crypto enthusiasts, is when things are already way past their exciting moment. But for a lot of us, we've been through all this. When I posted this on Twitter yesterday, I was talking about like a way to think about this is like, remember the 22.5 cent stuff that we all went through back in 2020? It's kind of like that. It's kind of like we're about to hit 22.5 cents right now and then go on like that. But, obviously, boom, there's the big end to the appeal, end to the case. So go watch that. Hard to put into context feelings on that or emotions to talk about that because I haven't had enough time to process it. I already had the stream up and running. I already had the waiting room open for it, and it was just 15 minutes ago that it got announced. So it's a weird feeling and not really knowing how price action is going to respond in the thick of this moment. I have no idea how price action is going to respond in the thick of this moment. If it's going to keep going or consolidating or pull back down, I don't know. It's a intense moment and something that we as a community have been through for a very, very long time. And I don't even know the words to really say or process it, or I don't even know if I feel anything. I think it's kind of one of those things where you're in a little bit of shock. Like you knew, you thought it was coming, but you were also like, why is it taking months longer than everything else for it to eventually come? And then we're living in the moment, March 19th, 2025, right? It was just a couple of days before Christmas in 2020, you guys, 2020. And here we are on March 19th, 2025. Where did the time go? Man, that's a long time. Hard to process it. But there you go. You got an initial reaction on there. I'm not going to have any thoughts on this chart today. I swear, man, I came on here thinking, hey, guys, go enjoy spring break with your kids. Go plant in your garden. Go relax for a week. Everything seems fine, but also probably nothing's going to end up happening. Not the case now. So we'll give this a little room to breathe here. And then, of course, we'll give it more room to breathe because we'll be back together again later today when the Fed has their meeting. So, of course, we have Fed Day today. So we just have all types of chaos to enjoy in today's session. So we'll be back again later today to do this thing in 4 hours from right now. So prepare and set your timer right now. Whatever 4 hours is from right now for you, we'll be back live doing this thing all over again. But there you go. Brad Garlinghouse announces the case. The case is coming to an end. I don't know if there's any new information that's coming out. Let me see if he's posted anything. He hasn't. Has Stuart Alderati posted anything? Stuart Alderati posted, today Ripple moves forward stronger than ever. This landmark case set a precedent for the domestic crypto industry. With the SEC dropping its appeal, Ripple is now in the driver's seat and will evaluate how best to pursue our cross appeal. Regardless, today is a day to celebrate this victory. So essentially, they're announcing they don't know what they're going to do about their cross appeal. However, the SEC is dropping its appeal. So maybe that wasn't worked out in the stipulations on that they had to drop their appeal. The SEC just said straight up, we're not going to appeal. So there you have it. Excuse me. Anyway, that seems like an appropriate day to...
It is Wednesday, my dude. It is Wednesday, dudes.
So, yeah. Woo, boy. All right, man. There you go. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Considered the third best day of the week. I think we'll take that. There's probably not going to be a day this week that tops today. So, yeah, hard to process. You come into these live streams every day. Like I come into the live streams to kind of build all my charts and get ready for it, and I'm all like prepared and like I know what I'm going to say for about a half an hour until we like hop into the chat and dive into the news and everything like that. And then then a surprise happens like that. Yeah, we're just going to wing it straight up. All right, let's jump around in the charts. We'll take a look over here at Bitcoin real quick. Not a whole lot to say over here in Bitcoin. Is it still just meandering along down in here? XRP, all the little charts that we look at in here to peek at this stuff. When it comes to XRP versus Bitcoin, or example, XRP dominance, XRP USD, we're still just churning along in here. So it seems like the strength is still building in here. I'm still just going to guess that we probably need to have market strength and momentum happening in the market entirely to get the thing full sending. But we'll just see how today ends up going and how much momentum this thing actually ends up having in it. I think the major resistance, if it even has the juice to get there today, is like around $3. So we'll see. Otherwise, things that were interesting. Gosh, like, do I even meander into the other topics I wanted to talk about? Like, I think I do. Like, obviously, the appeal's done. But other topics that we'll talk on real quick. First of all, the stock market just opened. So you got the Russell 2000 up 4 points. You got the S&P 500 up 14 points. The Dow Jones up 116, and the Nasdaq is up 64. So everything's up about 1/4% to kick off the day and start things off. Of course, last week the Russell was able to hold on top of that 50-week moving average. It's still just chilling there right now. So, of course, we're looking for things to kind of settle down. The thing that I'm really working on right now is continuing to formulate and strengthen my thesis that I do believe we are approaching the peak of the equity market. And that, we're probably seeing the profit taking happening on the mega caps right now. And then that it becomes a rotational play that happens into small and mid caps. And that's where crypto does benefit. But, and that could give us a few months to kind of play around in here. But after that, it gets real sloppy up in here. And that's going to be the kind of messaging that we're going to be building on here on the next couple of weeks and months as this thing continues to progress throughout here. Of course, gold has been just absolutely ripping, and I think that's just giving the telltale sign. This is probably mega cap money coming out and going into gold happening over in here. All right. What was I going to talk about? One of the interesting things, I don't know if you guys caught this over there on Twitter, but there's this guy named Josh Mann. Let's see if I can find it. I'm not going to bring him up on screen. Yeah, Josh Mann at Josh Mendel 6. He's made waves over there on X. Yeah, this dude right here, Josh Mendel 6. Back in November, the guy made a price prediction. And mind you, the price of Bitcoin was right here. And he said the price of Bitcoin on March 14th will be $84,000. And the price closed completely perfectly right at $84,000 on March 14th, right? He picked Pi Day to end up doing that. It's made huge waves over there on Twitter. And it's fascinating to me because you guys all know time is nearly impossible to predict. And if somebody has figured out something, I'm going to dive into it in a big way. I don't believe in all the astrology stuff and the blood moons and what are we? Uranus and Saturn and Neptune have aligned to create the Sagittarius super pumpy stuff. I just don't come on. But for somebody to do that with that precision, that's a fascinating thing to me because it was unbelievable precision. And so I've been kind of diving into his stuff, and I don't know if you know this, but ChatGPT and Grok, they now have these deep research features in them. And so I was like, all right, I want you to dive into this guy's profile, find the clues that he's been leaving along on what made him come to that conclusion, on how you could do that and figure it out for the exact particular date, right? And likely had a lot to do with futures contracts closings and puts and calls and all that stuff, and that the most painful price for them to close out on March 14th would end up being $84,000, that it would end up hurting both sides the most if it was at that particular price level. But, throughout his profile, he had also mentioned things of a lot of the things happening in markets really remind him of things in the 1990s, which is when he was active on Wall Street and worked for a Wall Street firm. And a lot of the parallels that I've drawn from the market that we're currently in right now, from this big lack of breadth, right, that has happened here in the market, right, where we have the Russell 2000, the Dow Jones, or we have the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and the S&P. They're all way up in here, right? And this is the first time that we don't get the Russell to follow along, right? And so, he was really active in Wall Street, worked on Wall Street in the 1990s during the dot-com bubble. And that's the biggest parallel that I can draw to this type of behavior happening in the market, is what happens when you're approaching peaks of major bubbles, right? And that's kind of what we've been in, the tech bubble, right? Everything bubble, really. And biggest when I use these so I use deep research, right, on Grok and on ChatGPT to try to isolate where are these locations and times that he's talking about, and he's referencing to approximately 30 years ago in the market, and that this is what the Nasdaq was about 30 years ago as the dot-com bubble was kind of nearing its, roaring ending phases. There was still more to it, right? But like even there, like when I was diving into it and using what Grok was saying and ChatGPT to try to figure out how does this dude predicting time, right? I think we all want to know that. How's he predicting time? I'm not too keen on listening to somebody spit out magic. I have to know how you got to that conclusion, right? And what it was that made you get there. And I'm not sure I still have the answer on how he got there. But, this was how the NASDAQ was behaving in 1998, right? And this is, of course, how Bitcoin has been behaving right in here in 2024 and 2025. And just wanted to kind of show you examples of kind of corrective structures that even happened in here from back into the NASDAQ to have behaviors happen like this in here. And that, you set these and then you go slam these lows, you set these and go slam these lows. And then, eventually bull flags its way out and gets out of there. What this doesn't answer for us is, is it still going to slam that 76,150 and then turn its way up and get rocking? Or is it building a bull flag already right in here? Is it building some type of bull flag to get roaring in there? But I don't have the answer for how Josh Mann came to that conclusion, but I know that he's referencing the 1990s, and that's very similar to what I have come to the conclusion of what we are like in the crypto market and in the stock market, or the stock market really, of what our behavior is like in the stock market, is that we're acting very much like the late 1990s, like where we're coming in for the peaks of the markets happening in here. And so I thought it was fascinating to see behavior like this also happening in there. And I'm curious if this is where his reference is. He will not give his secret on what it was that he saw. So everybody's watching him. I saw somebody in the chat say, yeah, now he predicts $444,000. I personally don't believe that. But that's what the market needs, right? That's what the general public needs to believe. They need to believe there's the new main character. They need to believe he knows something nobody else knows. And the target is now $444,000, which is just like what, plan B was back in the 2021 cycle with the stock to flow model, right? That we need to have some type of magical formula, and there's somebody that has something figured out that we don't know, and they're going to be the ones to take us to the promised land. So a lot of people probably are going to be leaning now on this $444,000 price target, which I personally am not a fan of. I don't think we're going to get past 140. But that's to each their own. But it was fascinating to see somebody be able to make that prediction, and hats off to them, because you just don't see timing price numbers, especially that far out. 4 months is a lot of time. And to be able to predict the exact day that it's going to happen on, I thought it was truly fascinating. And I've been trying to figure out myself, how did the man do it? Because I want to know how to do that. So we'll see if we can get ourselves catapulted out of here for Bitcoin at some point. But of course, the big news today, like, these are things that I was planning on talking about, right? Before the big news, of course, comes out that the SEC is dropping its appeal against Ripple, and Brad Garlinghouse has put out the full-fledged announcement of it. So we'll see how price behavior continues for XRP. I don't have the full answers for you on that. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, my thoughts are, hey, we got it exactly what we wanted. That was the crashing structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rolls up to wave 4 within wave 5. Hits it twice. It's exactly how you do it. And then we pull back up. And now the likely thing is to just go enjoy your spring break, get your mulch down, fix those patches of grass in your yard, get those, perennials put in, or take care of those annuals that died out throughout the winter. And just don't look at the charts. Go enjoy your life. Just kidding. That's not the case. So we have a big fat candle happening over here on XRP, and we'll just see how much momentum it truly does have. Of course, up here with Bitcoin dominance and things like that, Bitcoin dominance still sits up there. That 702 retracement from 2021 here through 2025, waiting for this thing to unwind and let itself go. For me, I just don't even consider worrying about it until it's at least down in here in the 48s. Then we can start, at least there's an argument to say, it could happen, right? But otherwise up in here, I just don't even think about it. As for the US dollar currency index, the DXY, it's at 103.65. Stocks are doing a little bit better now that the market is actually open. The Russell is up 11 points now. It's up over 0.5%. The NASDAQ is up 0.46%, 91 points. The Dow is up 222 points, 0.54%. Yields unaffected, 2-month unaffected. It's unlikely that there's going to be any type of cut that comes from the Fed today. It's likely still going to continue that pause. DXY 103, of course, you can see down here, it's now back down to this retracement level. So when you are considering ranges, how traders treat ranges, this is the dumb money zone. All throughout here is the dumb money zone, this whole area. So traders will take advantage of the range boundaries. So typically this is going to be where traders are going to long the dollar. You're going to short the dollar here, long the dollar here. If it breaks down, well, then they'll cut it. But this is where longs would be taking place. So it's an area of interest now that we've gotten back down to this retracement level to see if there's going to be some type of just ricochet bounce coming off here on the dollar. Either way, it's below 106. That's the historical danger zone. That's fantastic to see. And that's when crypto can typically thrive a whole lot better. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to say about that. I feel like there was. We'll come back to it if we do. Otherwise, we'll check on XRP real quick. $2.52 coming off of the announcement from Brad Garlinghouse that the appeal has been El Dropo. La Dropia. Dominance is 61.15. XRP $2.53. So again, like one of the things that I do just have concern about on if it's going to have enough momentum to completely break out of there, is I'm not sure the whole market is ready for that whole breakout just yet. That there could still be a little bit more humming along having to happen in here for this whole market for it to have the momentum to get out. So the thing to pay attention to is if it gets to $3. If it gets to $3, there might be some resistance there for XRP. My thoughts are just kind of how far along we're in here. I mean, you can get up here and then just the little tiny pullback and then end up going. That's fine. It's exciting. I don't have too many comments on price action because it's so surprising to see that come out today. But, I think the thing we're watching for is, does it have enough juice to actually get to $3 and get beyond it? That's what we're kind of waiting on. But otherwise, things like XRP versus Bitcoin, XRP dominance, look at us. We're humming along how we should. But even in the events of these things, like you do just think there would be a lot of chop happening in here. So just don't be surprised by it. But I think it's just again, reiterating in the event that the market does turn up, the Russell 2000 turns up, crypto does have that breadth opening and that the Bitcoin dominance does fall, that XRP just has it's time, right? It's time. We are finally here. And I don't know what to say about it. Like, what do you want to say? You want to say, hey, congrats to everybody for making it through this event. It was a long fought thing, and that's true. But even like everybody else, I'm still kind of processing it. This has been a long journey, especially as a YouTuber, as somebody who posts on Twitter and stuff like that. You just get attacked nonstop, man. So like everybody's going through it on their end of just like, when is it ever going to end, this torture? And there's all that along with it, but all the attacks that I get at the same time for all the years and everything like that. It's just weird. So it's over, man. It's over. I don't know. Do we talk about what that day was like? Like, that day was terrible. Like, here we are in 2025. I remember in 2020 when the case got filed. It was so horrendously bad. What happened to price action when it occurred. And I remember being at Christmas and my wife had to tell all of my family, do not bring up XRP to him. Do not talk about it. And that was 4.5 years ago. And it's over. We won. XRP's price is $2.50. Pretty crazy. All right. anyway, we're churning along over here in the market. Things to keep eyes out for. Of course, we'll have the Fed meeting later today. We'll live stream that thing. It is not anticipated that the Fed will be cutting. I think the interesting thing, though, is that we saw in Polymarket that the market is pricing in 100% probability that QT will come to an end, right? So we'll see if that gets announced or if that's going to be some kind of halfway surprise thing happening in there over the next couple of weeks, and it's not going to happen in the middle of the meeting. But maybe that announcement gets mentioned, that they won't be selling the treasuries and the mortgage-backed securities. You know, in the event that that occurs, right, that's obviously not QE. Everybody's going to start their money printer memes like that means anything. But, you know, the reversal of just ending QT, of course, is more beneficial for small and mid caps, right? So maybe that's how we get our little rally for a few months to come out of there. But it is anticipated that there will not be a cut. 99% probability we are going to be paused. And it's anticipated that... Where's my stuff? Like probabilities. Here we go. That, you know, we're not even going to see another cut come until June. Maybe 50% chance that we see one happen then. They're really not feeling more confident about it until actually like September and October. They will actually end up seeing a cut come out of here. So it's still pretty up in the air on whether or not any type of cuts are coming anytime soon. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm sorry. I have a small cough. I'm going to mute while I do this big fat cough to try to clear it for good. Okay, there we go. I'm back. So, all right, we'll see if we can get some action in there. Of course, the big story is just this. XRP's price has taken a big jump over here. We're back above $2.50 as we're kicking off this fine Wednesday. So congrats to everybody making it this far. It's just so weird. How many days is this? I mean, right? This has got to be nearly like 1,500 days of dealing with this. So we're done. Okay. What other news is even relevant to even talk about? Stablecoin users grow 53% in 1 year. Hey, man, I was coming up with a theory in my head, which I'm probably like late to the party on all of this. But first of all, I thought the stable coins and why like the government is in support of stable coins is because it like strengthens the dollar to like make it so like every country, every citizen everywhere can like flee everything and jump into a US stable coin, right? So like the dollar becomes super dominant throughout the entire world because even like normies in, you know, little towns and villages and various countries can like get into the dollar if they want to. So it like super strengthifies, that's a word, right? The US dollar. So like, I'm like, I totally get it. Like the government's going to super be about stable coins and US dollar or stable coins. But you know what people probably aren't doing? Like people are like, yeah, no CBDCs. We don't want the central bank digital currency because then they could track us. They could control us. What if they're just going the angle of you doing it with stable coins, right? Right? Because there's the clawback features on stable coins. There's the pausing features on stable coins. There's all that different stuff. And your CBDC is actually just the US dollar stable coins. That's it. And you were like, look over here while you were looking over here. Right? Anyway. All right, Robinhood. Okay, who cares about any of this news? Like, all right, we're gonna go real fast. Stablecoins grow 53% in 1 year. Bitcoin futures deleveraging wipes out 10 billion open interest in 2 weeks. Classic Sega, Atari, and Nintendo games get crypto makeovers. The case against Pavel Durov and why it's important for crypto, eliminating archaic payment systems with stablecoins. Robinhood shares are up 8% after launching Betting Markets Hub, and Athena Labs securitized launch blockchain for DeFi and tokenized assets. Bitcoin dominance steadily rising since 2023. Is alt season now a relic? Bitcoin sees 30% retracement as selling pressures increase, says Bitfinex. Polymarket bettors say there's a 100% chance the Fed ends QT before May. That's your news. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Stock futures are up while everybody waits for the Fed. There you go. That's your news. But this is your biggest news, XRP. Of course, they don't have that there on Cointelegraph yet. But again, it just came out right when this stream was going live. So probably didn't have enough time to write an article and get it going. But all right, there we go. That's your big news. Not a whole lot to say about the chart because obviously this is a news-driven, nice little pump happening over here. Oh, look at that. Stellar Lumens is doing well on Ripple's appeal getting dropped. What's new? Yeah, big day, crazy. Not a lot to say about it until I can kind of process it myself. I'm having to process it live with you in front of you live. So, all right, we'll hop into the chat. We're at 30 minutes in here. Again, guys, we will be back together again in 3.5 hours. So I go live about a half an hour before the FOMC meeting starts. So when we catch the rate hike and everything, or not rate hike, rate decision, which is expected to be a pause. And then we'll see whether or not they're going to end QT now or if that's going to be something later. But okay, hopping into La Chatteria. Lord Matty, before the stream had started, had stayed, member for 26 months, says the appeal has been dropped when moon. Yeah, so this is those things. These are these types of things too, where you see lots of bitterness come out on Twitter. If this thing doesn't pump and skyrocket to $10 today or tomorrow, why didn't it move? Patience, right? Macro conditions matter. Everything matters. There's got to be enough liquidity for these things to go. But it's looking good, right? These things are looking good. Structures are set up. It's just we don't know if it's got enough juice to get out. Yeah, we'll find out. Everyday airline pilot member for 19 months says, "Happy Frog Day, everyone. BCB is your breath indicator showing any signs of life? No signs of life yet." XRP SupercraSY gifted a BCB membership. Brother, thank you so much. JB Estrada says, "Happy Jubilee. Today is the start of the new year. 5950. Blessings to all. It's been an amazing ride. BCB. May the Lord bless you and your family." Thank you very much, JB. You've been around a long time, brother. Misha Wilson. "Hey, BCB. I'm looking at my bags and thinking about rearranging some. You've mentioned that you think some alts will expand, some will retrace. Do you have a few examples of a few that retraced last cycle for me to study?" 90% of them are, no, it wasn't. Was it 90? 80% of the market retraced. So go just look at all the top coins throughout. I'm not going to go through. Most of them just went through retracements. That's how 2021 acted. Only 20% of them were capable of even touching their all-time highs from the top 100. So coins from the top, you can almost look at every single one of them. And what I'd love to tell you is to say, yeah, like all of the 20% that hit their all-time highs, they went to 4.236 extensions, and all the rest of them went to 702 retracements. But that's just not how they ended up panning out. Even of the 20% that touched their all-time highs, some of them weren't able to really get beyond that. That they just like Monero hits it and falls back. Litecoin hits it and falls back. Stellar Lumens hits it and falls back. And there's just a few of them that are capable of actually getting all the way out and continuing to end up going. And then of things that retrace, they retrace to various degrees. Like Bitcoin Cash retraces to its 382 Fibonacci retracement. EOS retraces to its 702 retracement. Sia coin goes to a 702 retracement, right? Like they're just in various different retracement levels, and there was no real consistency on which particular retracement level they ended up hitting. So they all kind of hit it. And so the main thing to kind of like focus on at that time was like on the just general market cap of the whole market, if it was hitting a full extension in there. And that was kind of telling the story that, all right, is there confluence of other things happening? Do you have something else hitting a particular extension? Do you have other things hitting particular retraces at the same time? There's probably your confluence moment happening in there. So there's too many of them, and it would actually take me 20 minutes to go through and show all the different charts and show the different things. But you're not gonna. But what I would do is go to things like the Wayback Machine or Archive, right, and look up CoinMarketCap, see what was the top 100 back in January of 2018, and then go study all those charts from what the top 100 was, or really just even the top 20, and then go look at each one of them and see how they do in retracements and where they end up landing. But Misha, thank you very much. XP Market member for 23 months. Finally, Win Day. Oh, look at that. Instead of Wednesday, it's Win Day is here. Meneki Company, if 440K, would XRP have a new ceiling? Right. So everybody has the new Messiah. You got to be careful with that. Can you come up with 440K on your own on the chart? If you can't, then you're betting on a new Messiah. Right? But if Bitcoin went to 440K, probably higher. Probably higher, but for XRP. But I just don't think it will, and I'm also not going to be betting that it will. Be real careful on the new Messiah, the new main character. And believe me, I don't want to be the main character. The main character does nothing but bring all the haters towards you, all the attention, all the jealousy, all the anger. I don't want it. Siros with the super chat didn't say anything, but thank you very much. Brendan M, member for 31 months, says, get that video, brother, BCB. We've all been patiently waiting. Let's go. Oh, you're talking about the movie. Yeah, it would be, if we could break into an all-time high, it'd officially be complete, right? The positive ending. Gator gifted 5 BCB memberships. Gator, thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. Hot Tub Brian says, with the current administration, you would think Congress would push the bill to ban themselves from owning stocks now. They may end up, right? Like, so I don't think the market's going to go in a straight line down on things like the NASDAQ. I would think that the NASDAQ will bounce. It'd be more rolling action in there. And so, you know, you got to do like what the Fed did. The Fed banned themselves at the top. Right. So this has been like a 10% pullback. You would think that they're going to do it at higher prices. Like if the Russell's capable of getting to like 2,500 to 2,600, like that's really as high as I think the Russell is going to end up getting. You know, if you're here with the Russell and then at the same time, right, we've seen like a retracement come out of the NASDAQ and the S&P. While that's happening, right, we've talked about those dynamics in the crypto market a million times. And of course, if Congress is like, all right, we are going to ban ourselves from owning stocks now, like writings on the wall. And the thing about that, like we talk about that all the time, is that it will be fully supported by everybody that they should ban themselves. So it's like the perfect scam. It is the perfect scam because everybody will say, good. They shouldn't be able to trade stocks. But what they're going to do is force themselves. They're going to have, like, if, like, you know, there's all the disclosures, right? If suddenly Nancy Pelosi is dumping all of her bags, right? If Elizabeth Warren is dumping all of her bags and every congressman is just suddenly dumping their bags because they know a big giant crash is coming, everybody's going to panic, right? So how can they dump their bags at the Pico top and make it seem like they're good guys? And it's by banning themselves from owning stocks. They have to because they're good guys. Because we are such good people, we are going to sell our stocks. And everybody will applaud. That is the right thing to do. And that's how they get away with it. HTB, thank you, brother. XP Market gives 10 BCB memberships. My man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And everybody whose name turned green, say thank you. Mr. Nobody, where are all my XRP OGs at? When Oscar? Hey, we're back to 257. All right, so this is as high as we could get right here, 259 before the stream started. Mr. Nobody, thank you. Skeleton gifted 10 BCB memberships. Man, Skeleton, thank you so much. Kim, 589, member for 51 months. All right, 51. We can do the math on that. All right? Do you know how long 51 months was? It's December of 2020. when the SEC lawsuit happened. Kim 589 has been a member since December of 2020 when the lawsuit happened, 51 months ago. Kim says, what a great day for us all. Thank you, as always, for having our backs. Yep. Thank you, Kim. Corey, happy Wednesday. Will you be on guard when Bitcoin retraces to 90K to make sure it's not just a dead cat pounce? Thank you for everything, BCB. Yeah, for sure, right? Like when Bitcoin, oh no, my charts are broken. Okay, right. The question is, be on defense during a moment like that. Now, one thing I would expect is I would expect price to get here, and then I would expect price to stall to be able to get out in here. But we'll look for some type of, if there's any type of silly, funny business happening throughout the rest of the market. If there's some other like confluence factors or like given some kind of scary thing at that time, which I don't know what they are right now, but if I saw them, we'll talk about them. Right? That's your question. I don't think it's going to reject from there, just because I don't think it will. I think this is pretty standard stuff. But if we see things, we'll address that at the time. And I don't know what those would be right now, but if we see them, we'll bring them up. Normie's Nerd. Hey, BCB, what are your... thank you very much, Corey. And he says, thank you for everything, BCB. Thank you. Normie's Nerd says, hey, BCB, what are your thoughts about Bitcoin OS making ADA Bitcoin smart contract layer complete with privacy when midnight chain losses? Beyond my realm. Wrong guy to ask. Not sure. Crypto Kev, thank you very much. He says, will you keep doing videos after this market cycle? Your videos have been pivotal in understanding crypto markets. Yes. But for the last 5 years, 5.5 years, it's been really, very full time, right? It's been like every day of the week. Like even when there's days that a video isn't put out, I'm not like running around like goofing off all day. I'm doing something. If there's a day I'm not here, like I'm writing a newsletter, I'm researching something, I'm doing something, I'm building a thesis, I'm doing something on the computer, I'm trying to figure things out. But if we get like the big blow off, if you get something like over here in Aave, where is it? I thought I had something here, right? Ethereum Classic, Aave. Like if these markets make themselves present, that this becomes the big blow off happening in here. And my thoughts are we're just going to end up doing this for years while stock market's pulling back and stuff like that. I have spent a lot of time thinking about what would it be like there? Like, am I going to come on here and make videos every single day saying down we continue to go? Probably not, right? But I'll probably still put out 2 videos a week. Continue writing the newsletter, discussing the markets. And like I've talked about during that time, one of the things that I actually really want to do is just to write a book. I want to talk about what it was like being me, going through all of this on this side of all of it. And just even this story, this being part of the story, like today is a big deal. March 19th, 2025, the appeal gets dropped. That was part of the story and the journey and all that stuff. And so there is this part of it wanting to be like, there's a project I want to work on, and that's writing a book. And I think that's going to be kind of more my priority during that time. So still be videos here and there every week, but probably not 5 days a week. The Dragonfly Doji says, my wife just said, so I might start watching those blockchain blogger videos with you now that our XRP is actually doing something. Exit liquidity found. Your wife. Thank you. Nobody, just a witness member for 10 months. I will stop drinking every day now. It has been detrimental. Thanks for the last 5 years, BCB. Thank you very much, member, for 10 months. Bishop Wilson, thank you very much again. You said, we're talking about retracements, right? Got it. No worries. Thank you. Last question. Are you still expecting waves of equal length to get up to a 20 to 25% dominance on the chart? I don't think I ever said 20 to 25%. I really don't. I think it was 12% because I can bring that chart up. Really, really sure it was 12%. And I think you're going to be very hard pressed to find anything saying 25%. Even in these. They're going to get you in there. I don't think it'll get that high. And this is really the main area that I'm looking for, 10.5 to 13. Somewhere in there. All right. Which is like there. Definitely no 25 stuff. No 25 stuff. Or 20. Right? I'll put this video out soon. If you remember 2 weeks ago, I was kind of like, hey, I've kind of got my content kind of prepared for the week. I've got a couple of good topics to talk about and stuff like that. One of them actually was incorporating this, but what we got met with over the last couple of weeks was just extreme market chaos, right? And so it became the time where it was like, I can't really talk about these things. Everybody's focusing on what is happening here in the moment, in the now, right? Like Trump makes the big announcement and all that stuff happens, and we get price pumps, we get price dumps, and we get everything kind of happening. And then now we got this. So it's been difficult to focus on like side content and bigger picture ideas in the thick of the extreme volatility and volatile narratives, right? And the Bitcoin strategic reserve, right? All the different stuff that happened. But there's a video I have that absolutely takes into the account the confluence of the XRP dominance and this, which is like the 12% area. So definitely not 20 or 25%. And still points to that $8, $9, $10 price level. And so we'll talk about that probably in the next couple of days or at the beginning of next week. I don't know. I don't know if I have to make a video that's what this price action is going to do right here on this news catalyst that we just got. I don't know what this is going to do. So we'll see if we actually have to focus on this, right? Which we may, right? This may be the big thing. And then once things calm down, we can talk more about that stuff. So we'll see. But thank you, Misha. Sheldon Albertson, BCB, one of your first 3,000 followers. I've watched nearly every video you've put out. We did it. We've won. It's pretty much time. Let's go big, dog. Thanks for all that you do for the community. Sheldon, thank you. It's hard. Like, dude, like over 1,000 videos and live streams on the channel. I don't even know what the number is at right now. $1,451. That's a long time. That's a lot of videos, man. Yeah, pretty surreal. But it's like, it's just celebrate today. Great day. Great day. Thank you very much, Sheldon. I appreciate you being here, man. Funny 7544. What? Funny 7544. And I'm going to sound like a jerk here because I don't think I've ever seen your name come across the screen before. But Funny 7544 comes out and drops 50 memberships. It's insane. And that was a good 8 minutes ago, and I missed it when it came through. That's amazing. Thank you very, very much. Luke Rashia in the chat, Luke Rashia says, do you think the price reaction is kind of disappointing to the news? Blockchain backer, that's the problem that's going to happen here, guys. There's going to be a lot of people mad if this thing doesn't shoot all the way out right now. You got it. Like, if you aren't listening to me on like things like these things could have to matter. These things could have to matter for it to have full momentum to get all the way out. I could see it where things stall out and people are freaking raging because they wanted price to go kaboom on it. So far, it's fine, but 232 to 256 are up 20 cents, are up over 10%. We'll see how it goes. Give like a example of like how things happened in 2023, and like I hope it's not like that, but you never know on these catalyst type things. And I don't know if it's going to keep going in here and get to $3, but just to give you like a news catalyst type thing in 2023, right? That was 2023, yeah. When XRP was deemed not a security. Oh my gosh, was that really 2023? July of 2023? Like July 13th, 2023? Price pretty much rampaged for about 4 hours. So you pretty much got price to keep going for 4 hours before it stalled out. What are we, an hour into it? About? What time? We'll be able to tell. An hour and 14 minutes. Hopefully that's not the case, but I'm not going to predict on this. We'll just let this thing do what it's going to do, and then we'll be able to talk about it tomorrow in a video for sure. Again, funny. Thank you. That was very generous. Bulldog 589 gifted 5. Of course, generous as well. Thank you very much, Bulldog. Ethan Davis, member for 18 months. If you had a 401k and couldn't pull money out of it, where would you put it during the upcoming bear? Well, I'm not going to give you advice on your 401k, but because I actually don't even have a 401k. I have had 401ks in the past, but I don't know. However, my children do have college funds, and so I do modify their college funds, and I've definitely shifted theirs over to where it's 2/3 money market. So it's just, sitting in cash, treasury bonds, and it's just making, 4% interest, right? So it's been like that for a while now, which still has seemed to have been the right decision to do that. But if you have the ability to modify it and, put more into, cash equivalents within the 401k, that may be an option that you would have to talk to your financial advisor about. And if that's an appropriate thing for you. Guarev. Super chat, but no comment. I appreciate it. Biometallic, he's got breaking news. The Ripple versus SEC lawsuit is over. Brad just announced. Yeah, I know. It's pretty wild. We can't believe we're living in that moment at this exact second. Thank you very much. Cameron Huckabee gifted 5 BCB memberships. Man, thank you. Oh, Misha, you said the others chart for dominance. Let's take a look at others.d. Is it alive yet? I'll be frank with you. I don't have a lot of confidence on this, but I mean, if you did something like that, that's where it would land. Yeah, I don't know if I have full confidence that that's how you're going to get. I mean, this seems like Wyckoff. This seems kind of like your C19 moment that has happened in here, right? This is like your C, right? This isn't C19, but like let's, right? So like this is how you bounce off your floor. Nah, I'm not going to deep dive into the waves, but I assume it's something like. Sorry, hold on. I know I'm breaking the cardinal rule of streaming. You have to be talking at all times. A, B, C. There you go. right? Hold your floor. Hold your floor. And there you have it. Right. So how high it could go, I really don't know. These dominances are kind of silly on how high they can get, right? Like this one, it's not like this is like, let's see if this is any type of fib behavior in here. Not necessarily. I mean, like it gets up 1 fib. I'm not sure, but I mean, it looks all right, right? The dominances are so tricky. They're so tricky, and especially for the whole market. Right? Because like even if you did like a 4.236 extension on this wouldn't make any sense. Like that just wouldn't make sense to go to 50 something percent for others, right? Which is like what this did. A little bit short. Okay, get out of here. Get out of here. There we go. Right, or even to here. I just don't see 50% on that, right? And it's not like that's how it behaved here either, right? So a lot of times when we talk about charts, like when we're trying to do like particular things on charts, like you want to see certain indicators like work. And you could say, hey, like this tends to work for this particular chart. I wouldn't say fib extensions have like, see how this one did. Just these dominances are tricky. On this one, I probably just I won't have total confidence on that. But I mean, like what I can say is that like, it seems like it's bottomed, right? Like these are bottoming behaviors, right? All right. You even have like all the little waves in here that are the same. It just does, make it look more like that. Right. And then what's it do? It retraces and then bam, slams down into the low, right? And holds it. So now it's just doing one of these things, right? So I mean, it looks good. Looks good. Don't know how high it'll go. But thank you, Misha. Very generous. You did multiple super chats to get your question across. I appreciate it. TK Evo gifted 10 BCB memberships. It's very generous of you, TK. Thank you very much. And then Funny, who just gifted 50, gifts a big fat hundo and says, hey, BCB, I love your vids. Keep up the great work. I have a question on XRP. Do you think around 6 to 650 is the next spot for a back test of 4 to 450? Or do you think XRP goes to the $8 to $11 point? Got in at 0.5 cents or 50 cents because of you. I hope everyone makes a lot this cycle. Funny, it's very, very, very generous of you. I appreciate it. I do envision, like, we're all just modeling it, trying to guess the model on how it would shift its way up, right? Man, look at these dominance in versus Bitcoin. Looking bueno. Like you can use examples of how these things would happen at, right? Like, right, let's say that Bitcoin stays perfectly still today. Price rises 100% from where it's currently at right now. That puts you about $5. And then you see a 33% correction off of $5. Yeah, that would make sense, right? Maybe. But if Bitcoin goes higher, right? Like if Bitcoin say back at like $110,000, that would mean that the charts are breaking. Sorry, guys. Let's say Bitcoin's back here at 100K, so it's 22% higher. Then that means this price would be 22% higher than that. So it would have happened from $6 to 20 cents. I think it's reasonable, but I think I'd want to see, like, be living in that moment at the time and like counting waves at that particular time. Like, have we done something excessive? Like, a lot of times we see these excessive 5-wave endings come in here for things to happen. And there's the euphoria, there's the clear 5 waves happening in there. Like Bitcoin, like something like this over in here, we were getting the clear 5 waves happening in here for the euphoria happening in here. So I'll be looking for stuff like that to happen at that time, as long as we get it, right? But there are times, there are circumstances where, did I really lose this? I didn't do it on this chart, right? Was this my one that had? Yeah, it is. This is one that had like the Aave and stuff on it. I mean, like with Ethereum Classic, man, I mean, it just went straight, right? It went from the straight line, gone. And then it was over before we knew it. And so I always have to like be prepared on that too, that those things could happen, that things could just happen very, very rapidly, and making decisions in the thick of the moment, very difficult, but being prepared for it and kind of pretty much closing your eyes, where it feels hitting the sell button feels just as bad as hitting the buy button. In the thick of terror, hitting the buy button doesn't feel good, and in the thick of euphoria, hitting the sell button doesn't feel good either. They feel exactly the same. But we'll see. I hope that kind of answered your question on like the way I'm looking at it right now. If you were just going to do it, without taking into consideration those things, and just fib areas, maybe $7 back down to 440, right? 7 to 440, then the final push. We'll have to see as we get closer and some type of structure starts to emerge. Otherwise, we just hit the 1 hour mark. We'll be back again together here in 3 hours. So I come on 30 minutes before this thing comes to a conclusion. So I'll be here at 3 hours. Look at what time it is for you right now. 3 hours from now. We'll come back on. We'll do the Fed stuff. We'll see how XRP is kind of responding to all the stuff that's going on out there. The case is officially over. It marks it March 19th, guys, 2025. It started in 2020. It's over. Now I get to go have a moment to myself to contemplate it and think about it for a minute. Otherwise, we'll be back together again in about 3 hours from right now. Here's the frog. Celebrate it. It's the day.
It is Wednesday, my dude. It is Wednesday, dudes.
Otherwise, thank you all so much for tuning in. 4 years together, 4+ years together, dealing with this thing when it comes to the SEC. And it's officially an event beyond us now. So, all right. That's going to be it. You guys can check out the newsletter at blockchainbacker.substack.com. You can check out bcbacker.com. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you again in 3 hours from right now. Thank you all so much for watching. If you could, please like the live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.